Hey everyone, maybe about a week or so ago I made a video about setting some traps for a squirrel I thought was in my walls. Well, I've been hearing some noises in the attic and the cat keeps staring at the ceiling. I haven't been up here in about a year, but we're about to go up here right now, see what's up. I don't hear anything. Just want to look for poops and stuff, see if it's in this place. Just want to look around a little bit. It's not a big place, as you can see. It's a very small building. Just looking around for poops. There shouldn't be any poops. Let's see if I can get up here or not. Ladder it's tall enough. I just gotta move some of this junk out of the way. I just threw this up here because I didn't know what to do with it. If you saw my video where I was using this rock wool for insulation during a camp, so I just threw it in the attic until I need it for something someday. I had all this spray foam put up here a few years ago because of really bad ice dams. For anyone who doesn't live in a snowy place, an ice dam is when the roof starts melting and the water that melted dribbles over to the edge. Where there isn't heat, it freezes, and the water keeps coming, making the dam higher and higher, and it builds behind it, and it can come up under the shingles into the house. But now there's no more ice damming problems because of the spray foam. This is called an encapsulated attic. There's no vents. It's completely sealed. This was done because this pipe right here this is a double wall pipe. It gives off a little bit of heat, and that's why it was melting the snow off, because originally there was no insulation at all up top, just on the floor. Spray foam is actually pretty hard. You can actually stand on a few inches of it without falling through the ceiling, but I'm gonna be careful. Good news, I don't see any poops yet. What are these? These are 2x4s, or yeah. Somewhere there's 2x3s. That might be the top. No, maybe I'm thinking of the garage. So, looking around, there's a couple ladybugs, but there's not many ladybugs, which is a good thing, making me think that up here might be pretty well sealed, because in the summertime, or in the fall when it starts getting colder, there's piles of thousands of dead ones in front of every window. So I'm looking around. Here's a pile of them. How are they getting into here? Why is there a pile in this one spot of ladybugs? They must be getting in through somewhere. The good news is I'm not seeing any mouse poops, no squirrel poops. Originally, when I got this place as an abandoned building, there was probably dozens of dead mice up here. They're corpses when we were ripping out the fiberglass. And there was also probably do I dare say hundreds of thousands of poops mixed in with it. I added this lighting up here for any time I have to come up here. You know, I really should start using up here for storage. That could clear a lot of the clutter around the building. Now, that right there is not a way in from a squirrel or anything. I think that's just a spot the spray foam guy missed. But I'm gonna, even though this can support your weight and the guy who was spraying this was kind of big, I still don't want to walk on it. So I'm just gonna put my feet over to the sides. I want to stand on the beams. Oh. Yeah, the guy just missed a spot. That's not chewed or anything by a squirrel. So this is called closed cell spray foam. It's very hard and dense. It's a vapor barrier, while open cell is supposedly not a vapor barrier. I didn't like that the guy used open cell in my basement, but he gave me a discount because he said he just wanted to run it out of his truck. Wow. why is this thing hanging? When I was working up here, I must have had a tool or something hanging there. Don't remember. There used to be a ridge vent up here the guy covered, sealed everything up. That's just a split from drying. I'd be concerned if there was anything the other way. But sometimes in the winter when it's really cold, you hear violent, huge, giant, it wakes you up at night, bangs as the house is shifting when it gets down to like -30 or -40. -40 is the same whether you're using Celsius or Fahrenheit. That's where they meet. You see, when I did a bunch of electrical work up here, I made sure to label everything. It makes it easier in the future. Yeah, I wired all this stuff right here myself while I was able to. You see how there's no insulation over above the bathroom? That's because the bathroom I couldn't afford to fix at the time, and this sheetrock is all new. But the guy said he doesn't need to come back and spray foam. It really doesn't matter too much since it's spray foamed up here. And up here is always a similar, it's like a halfway point between what's outside and what's downstairs. You see I put a couple catwalks and things up here. And there's even a plug in case I ever have to work. And, you know, just in case some animal ever chewed things. That's why I have the lights up here all GFCI protected and stuff. All these humps you see right here, these are fire retardant over the recessed lights. This place was so dark when I bought it, so I added all these recessed lights up here over the kitchen. These are these 4 lights because I wanted it really bright in there. That right there is above the stairs, and that one right there is at the bottom of the stairs. The one at the bottom of the stairs, I actually have a motion sensor so it pops on when you open the door since there was no switch around. And over here is above the bedroom. It's a 1-bedroom house. They always build houses with no ceiling lights in the bedrooms or in the living rooms because it's not required by code. And of course, if you're building a house, why spend extra money on it? But before I did that, now it's wired a little bit weird because I didn't want to take down any walls, and I couldn't fish it through the wall because of the way the building was made. So what I did was, it's a little weird, I gotta say. I repurposed the light switch from the closet to run these recessed lights. And in the closet, I just unscrewed the light bulb. You know what I mean? So you just have to screw the light bulb in while the bedroom lights are on if you want to see in the closet, but it really doesn't matter. Enough light shines in there. Doesn't bother me at all. So I repurposed the switch. So what that means is it's not right when you walk in the door. It's actually over a couple of feet next to the closet, but it doesn't bother me at all. There is a light switch when you walk in the door, but that controls a electrical plug for a lamp. That's how most bedrooms are wired. There's a switched plug. Yeah, and it's usually if you have a duplex plug, you know what I mean, how there's a plug over another. There's a little thing on the side of it, on the hot side of it. You just snip it, and it isolates them. So one is always on, and one of them can be switched. And that's the case in most houses. Yeah, and if there are any people who are electricians watching me, I know that this isn't exactly to code, but I don't think it really matters. It's up in an attic. The reason this isn't to code, you're supposed to actually have a running board behind it so idiots can't put clothes hangers and hang on it or try to pull themselves up by the wire. There's supposed to be a piece of wood behind it to support it, but it didn't really matter. And the electrician who I used to work with actually came over and looked at it, and he didn't care about any of it. I had someone with an actual license look it over. I did that because if the house was to go ahead and burn down, that means the insurance wouldn't cover it because someone without a license did it. So I had to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, so this is not a wood stove. This is running a furnace. I have a fuel oil furnace that this is how it runs. Now, You may be thinking to yourself, why did you go ahead and insulate the whole ceiling? Why couldn't you just kept it the way it was and insulated the pipe more? I don't know much about insulation. Did I get ripped off? The guy told me you can't insulate it the whole way. It kind of sounds like bullcrap now that I'm thinking about it, because it's insulated here all the way down into the basement through the entire first floor wall. Maybe I got ripped off, but oh well, can't undo the past. I gotta push this junk out of my way, because this is gonna be my way every time I come up here. Yeah, you know what I think I might try doing at some point up here? Because this is a lot of valuable space. I think I want to build, the ladders that pull down so I can just come up here whenever I want. And I think I might come up here with a paint scraper, scrape this stuff off the beams, and I might put plywood just in this nice center part, Who knows? It could be like a nice little hangout. I never really thought of this place as much up here. Because this right here, these are 2x4s, but it could still hold a ton of weight. I know it could. Yeah, there was something else ridiculous I remember when I got this place. You see that plug right there? This is the toilet vent, so it can flush better. Just vents, and also vents gases from the septic tank. That thing going over there to the side, I believe, is a vent for the kitchen sink, maybe? Anyways, this thing here went out 90-degree angle over here, so it was in your way coming up through the hole, and then it just went over here to a dead end. Like, who left it there? And so I just cut it off and plugged it. Now right there's I put a new fan in right there before the sheetrock was done. I didn't do the sheetrock because I suck at that. And that fan right there, I got one of the most powerful ones I could, because for anyone who doesn't know, I am paranoid about mold. I had the gut half of the house because of a mold problem, and the mold problem was created because the plumbing froze and was leaking for a while. After the old homeowners, when the place foreclosed, they didn't winterize it. So things were leaking a long time after the frozen pipes thawed. And there was evidence of the basement flooding too. So I had the basement actually had a second bathroom and a second bedroom. I eliminated both of those because of mold, and I'm not building it back. I actually like having an unfinished basement because I like seeing things. I like inspecting my plumbing and all kinds of stuff. I know it's kind of stupid, but I like to inspect things. And if anyone was seeing that, no, I did not leave a big poo in the toilet. That is actually some paint chips. Well, if I ever do refinish a basement, I found out in my area, finished basements don't count as living space. Doesn't matter what you do in a basement, doesn't count, which is kind of cool because your taxes don't go up. Yeah, I had to have a tax assessor come out because I tried to explain to them that this house does not have a second bathroom or a bedroom like it did on paper. So I actually got my taxes lowered because for some reason, whoever finished the basement told the tax assessor it had a second bedroom and bathroom, but they failed to mention it was in the basement. So someone was paying extra taxes for no reason. But whoever used to live here obviously could afford those kind of bills. They had, one time saw, these days electric bills are getting so high. I'm currently paying like $400 a month because our electric bill went up 60% hike. I used to pay like just over $100 a year ago, but that's how much electrical rates have gone up. But think back how low it would have been 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the owners of this house had $1,400 electric bills because year-round, this was like a Christmas wonderland. They had so many lights in all the trees, parts of the forest. That was a mess to take down. And they ran it out here in the middle of the woods for their own entertainment. No one could even see the house, especially back then. I bet the woods was even more dense. You couldn't even see cars going by on the highway in the winter when the trees are bald. There was nothing back then. Where was I going with that? High electric bill. Oh, anyways, the place didn't foreclose because the original owners, it's because the original owners died and apparently the grandkids couldn't afford the payments after that fact. So it went into foreclosure, and that's when I was able to buy the place from auction.com. And there's zero disclosure. That's why there was so many issues with the place, and that's why, like, this right here is unfinished. I went 2 years without a bathroom, so I went and I was just pooping in the woods and stuff. I actually enjoyed it. It was kind of nice going outside to do that. So I'm the kind of person I think I would really enjoy, like, a outhouse. I think I actually would. Maybe I should build one. Then I don't have to clean the septic tank as much. You just dig a new hole and move the building over it. Anyways, I'm just rambling on. Gotta get back down in here. So, boom. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night.